All right, what is good, everyone? We are back, Running Warehouse Australia Runners Series, and today we're going to have a recap of our recent trip to run the Osaka Marathon and go visit the Mizuno headquarters and Mizuno engine. And you might have spotted, if you are using a video, that we have a special guest with us, with Stuart and I. We have Jog On Crago with us, or what we'll call him today, Jack. Jack, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty well.
Good. Today, so we're going to, as I mentioned, go over our trip to Japan, visit Mizuno, and run the Osaka Marathon. First up, Jack, Stu and I always like to go through a few exciting releases that we're excited about. So, guests first, do you have any exciting releases that you're excited about?
Recently, probably the Endorphin Elite 2. That's been pretty hot off the press. We posted a review pretty recently. That was fun, soft, bouncy. It's probably one of the most unusual feeling super shoes we've tried out for a while.
Yeah, I saw you bouncing along on the coast the other morning in that. First session back.
5x1K felt okay. Pampered the legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Cielo X1 2.0, that's pretty good. Took that for a spin this morning as well. A few good super shoes coming out.
I have both of those written down. I've also got Puma's going to bring out Proprio Nitro, which
I still don't really know how to say that one.
Well, hopefully I got it right.
Proprio.
But it's a very low stack, nitrogen infused midsole foam. So we're going a little bit old school racing flat there, and I think for the 5K and below, I think that'll be a very, very enticing shoe, and it's also track legal.
Exactly.
Which I think, again, might excite a few people when you don't want to, jump in some spikes, getting in something like that on the track.
Yeah, it's low stack, but with some of the tech of these newer racing shoes. Like shoes that you can use on the track that are not spikes, it's limited now. Like, I think we literally have 2 options. And there's a lot of people that don't want to be wearing spikes. So, yeah, I think that's going to be an awesome option for a lot of people.
Grass reps too. Like, if you're doing a fair bit of running on grass, you don't want something that's super soft on top of soft grass. Like, nice little firm racer there will help.
Yeah, well, there's no plate in it as well,
exactly.
So it's a little bit flexible. Stu, anything for you that we haven't mentioned? Or?
Well, there's been, maybe less exciting for people that are looking to race, but I think the new Bondi, the new Nimbus, and the new Clifton, like, they're 3 staple daily trainers that, they're going to work for 99% of people. They've all been updated. The Bondi probably copped the biggest update out of all these, so it's getting it's bringing the foam into something that matches up with some of the competitors now. It didn't get updated for about 2.5 years, so it was definitely due, and it's been received quite well. And then trail. There's been a fair bit in trail that we've got new. So 2 new North Face racing options, sort of a more ultra distance shoe, and then your shorter racing shoe with your Vective Pro and your Vective Sky. I think they're really nice. I think they'll, it's shoes that we're seeing on guys winning UTMB and stuff like that, so that's now an option in Australia. Ultra have the new Mont Blanc Speed, so taking the carbon plate out of their racing shoe. Once again, I think trail guys kind of tend to lean towards that not carbon plated shoe, something with a bit more flexibility. And then we've just started stocking La Sportiva, so the Prodigio Pro from them, which it feels, once again, these are all shoes that we're now seeing these super foams make it into the trail, and they feel really nice. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I had one more, and it's not a shoe. It's more gear, but we're on the trail. So the Salomon Advanced Skin 12 and 5 set pack, that's recently had an update. Not a huge change for it, but it's just refining what is arguably one of the best packs on the market and one of our best sellers at Running Warehouse. So an update for that, which I think will get a lot of people happy about. Now, going on to the Osaka trip. So we got to go over to see Mizuno headquarters, their Mizuno engine, chat to some of the designers. And then, obviously, as I mentioned, we also ran the Osaka Marathon. So, Jack, do you want to give us a rough rundown on kind of what we did on day to day? I'm sure you've done this for all your viewers on Instagram, but kind of what we did when we got over there.
Yeah, so we came in on Friday afternoon, 10 hours of
2
flying.
2 days before the race.
Got into the hotel. Fair few people there. Like, I was pretty surprised by there's 60 people in our hotel, a few different hotels as well.
So it was a global summit for Mizuno.
Yeah, Mizuno had a lot of people there. retailers and influencers like yourself.
Yeah. We've been like, 150 people total?
Yeah.
Those numbers
Something
all
like
together. Yeah. So rocked up on Friday Arvo. Saturday we went to the flagship store first. And then we went for the shakeout run at Osaka.
Flagship store. 7 stories.
7 stories. That was crazy. Like, compared to
it's
retail,
a massive store.
compared to retail here in in Australia, but like Perth especially, like, you just can't even comprehend the amount of stock that they have, the amount of range, and just like the range of products as well. And it was only Mizuno too. Like, you walk into our stores and it's like a lot of stock, but it's 20 different shoe brands, but it was all Mizuno, which was crazy. Like, so many different shoes that we don't even get here in Australia as well.
And I did see you bought a couple of things
yeah.
when you were there. And we've got one on the table. So do you want to talk about it now or do you want to talk about it later?
Oh, yeah, I'll talk about this one. So this is the Wave Rebellion Pro Low. This is coming to Australia pretty soon, hey?
Yep.
So I'm assuming I'm allowed to say this, but yeah, it's coming mid-year, so we are getting this one.
Yeah, so kind of like a lower stack version of the Pro 3, same foam, I guess similar attitude up front, but they've taken out that kind of chunk of foam. I feel like it loads the calves a bit more, so you kind of get up onto your forefoot, a bit more nimble. I think this will appeal to more people than the Pro 3, just in terms of stability. Like, a lot of people found maybe a little bit squirrely if you're not really used to it, but this is going to sell quite well, I reckon. Quite exciting.
Yeah, so we actually got to run in one of the early prototypes of this one, and I preferred this over Rebellion Pro 3. Like, I just found it worked for my stride, and I agree. I think it's going to be a shoe that, like, the Rebellion Pro 3 is the exciting one with the crazy geometry and, it's deloading your calves 15% and all this stuff. But I think for the majority of people, that slightly less aggressive geometry,
it's going to be
it's going to be perfect. So you're getting all the benefits of the Rebellion Pro 3 without that kind of extreme geometry that just doesn't, work for a few people here and there.
Endorphin Pro 4 competitor, SC Elite V4, just stable standard marathon racing shoe. Nothing crazy going on. Be pretty easy to get people into this one as well.
Yeah, I also contemplated getting one of these, but then I was like, I can hang on until I arrive in Australia.
Prototype, getting 800 Ks in the office.
Yeah, I put a fair few Ks in that prototype. And the old G3 outsole still survived. Yeah. I haven't burnt through it yet.
Which is impressive.
Yeah,
impressive for Stu, because he can burn through an outsole in a run. Yeah. Exactly. We visited the Mizuno store, went for a run at the Osaka Castle. That was our first day there.
Yep. Snowed during the shakeout run.
Snowed during the
Yeah, so it was all organised to get a photo in front of the castle. It was all planned, and that all went by in a blur because it started snowing and we were freezing. So we sprinted up to the castle, paused for about 30 seconds, got a photo, and then didn't stop moving.
I guess not to give too much away, but the snowing and a shakeout run kind of set the whole precedence for, I guess, the rest of the trip a little bit.
Yep.
And then day 2, we went out to Mizuno Engine.
Yep.
Got to speak with some of the Mizuno designers and so on. And then obviously the Osaka Marathon Expo, which, having done Boston Marathon, was set up very well, very much like a major marathon expo, and they got us in and out really, really quickly and efficiently, and then you went through the rest of the expo and got to see a whole other side of
it was an interesting expo.
Brands and things which we don't have here in Australia, and then we went back to Mizuno, and again got to kind of go into their engine and have a look kind of at what they have out coming for the back half of 2025, and see kind of how they tested shoes and what they were able to do and turn around in pretty short time to get a prototype up and going. Yeah,
I think because the engine. Was it 2018 or 2020? Like, it's relatively new. So it's new for Mizuno, and it's like they set it up in a way that they want to be able to design, build, and test shoes all in one facility. They have all their staff, it looked like it was about 25 floors. We only, we're on the first couple there. And to be able to see just the stuff they have there, like their testing facilities set up the same as AIS or WACE. Like, they have full biomechanics lab basically set up there. They have, they can do VO2 max testing. They had heat chambers, they had altitude chambers. Like, they're testing, to come out with a lot of people walk into a store and you see this product and you go, oh, cool, they've made a shoe with a carbon plate in it, but there's a lot that goes into it, and, that's just one floor of Mizuno, and they're doing all this testing, and then they can build the prototypes on site. So we got a bit of a sneak peek in there. I've never seen a workshop more clean. Like, maybe I'm just comparing it to my dad's shed, but there was not a grain of dust anywhere in that workshop.
I'm not sure how many shoes have been built in your dad's shed, though.
We tried.
And then obviously the next day we decided to run Osaka Marathon, or we got to run Osaka Marathon. And how'd that go for you guys? I mean, I was obviously there with you, but for everyone either listening or watching at home.
You can go first if you like. I'm possibly DQ, but we can get into that.
Yeah, so it went pretty well for me, like pretty much a perfect race. I've been hanging out for a cold marathon for ages, like here in Perth. The last 2 years of Perth Marathon have been like 23, 24, finishing in 27-degree heat, which just cooks me. So to get on the start line and for it to be 2 degrees and for it to snow at like 15 Ks, to have people around us as well, like a lot of people went out really, really hard. Like they went out.
Which is the Japanese way up.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a joke when people were telling me that. But then, sure enough, 10 Ks in, you're just seeing people just move backwards, which is good, like mentally being able to pick people off. I think like Nathan jumped on with me and we probably picked off about 40, 50 people per 5Ks for the entire race, which was, it was nice. And yeah, great course, like it was really flat. We had one rise at 32 Ks, which would probably be about as big as what the narrowest bridge here in Perth, somewhere around that. Wasn't huge, but I reckon for a lot of people that would have been the end of their race, get to 32 Ks, hit the wall, straight up a hill.
Because what was your PB going in?
Was 2:43 mid.
Yeah, and that was at Perth.
That was at Perth as well. Had a pretty big blow up as well.
So the goal going in was obviously PB.
PB, get through it feeling comfortable. So like once we got to 32 Ks and felt all right, kind of knew that it was on the cards. So downhill from 32 Ks, like a nice smooth decline was very nice. Picked off a few more people in the last 2 Ks, felt pretty comfortable. Yeah.
What'd you end up running?
Oh, we ran 2:39.39.
Yeah.
Lovely time as well.
Yeah.
I do like the 39.
That's very, very
you
satisfying.
You need to sit on that one for a few minutes. If you have to run a faster time, it has to be something very impressive, because 39
sub 2:30 or something.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah. Stu, what did you run on your watch? We're going to have to go off your watch.
Yeah, so Mizuno organised everything perfectly. We can't complain about anything, but they did mix up a few of the bibs. So instead of starting in A wave, I was meant to start in G wave, which was 45 minutes behind you guys. And I decided that I don't want to be walking the first 10K of this race, so I'll sneak my way into the A wave.
Yeah, Osaka Marathon may never invite Stuart
yeah,
back.
So I don't think that's the done thing in Japan, because, I don't know, it seemed like I was breaking a few laws to get up to A wave. But even still, I feel like we started a reasonable way back in A wave. It took us a bit to get to the start.
We didn't park on the front line.
Yeah, but partially because I was hiding. But yeah, gun goes, chuck off the old free poncho that we got. Everyone just seems to dump them on the side. It's the only time I've seen a Japanese person throw any rubbish. But I'm assuming it was cleaned up quickly. And we, the first 5K or so, I feel like it was basically you would jog behind people, find a space in a gutter, sprint, and then tuck back in. And I just felt like I was doing that for about 5K, and then I saw some balloons up ahead, and I was like, oh, this could be a 2:30 pace group or something. And this was around 5K, and I saw them, and I saw the balloons, and then I was like, oh, that's the 3-hour group. I was like, this probably not the pace I wanted to be on. I wanted to be a bit ahead of these guys. So basically from then on, spent the whole day sort of chasing and somewhat alone, I felt like, for most of the race. You're kind of going through people. Like you said, the pacing of Japanese is insane. I saw guys in the lead group who I think they were at about 10K effort. They were sprinting, and this was 10Ks into the race, and I was like, I felt like I had my effort wrong looking at them. I was like, I'm feeling really comfortable, and these guys are gunning it 10, 15Ks in. But then they start coming back to you very quickly. Snow comes down 15Ks into the race. It's just hang on, run the rest of the marathon. I've done plenty of long runs, so I know how much the back half of a long run feels, and hang on to the end. I was feeling all right until about 38K. And then my eyesight started to go on to me. Everything started going a bit black, and I was like, oh no, this is a sugar flat. So I had took another gel. So I'd had 4 gels up until that point, and then took another gel thinking this will save me. And I took the gel, thought, yeah, this will bring the lights back on. And it kind of didn't. So then I was like, oh, I don't think this is low blood sugar. I think it must be something else. So I think it was just like the cold, the snow, the dry air. I think that it just got to me because having a gel didn't make a difference. So after that, I picked up the pace again, rolled through around 233 or 234-ish. Finished and warmed my eyes up straight away, and then I was good. Got handed a little cup of soup and
you could
warmed
see
the
again.
song. Yeah. So yeah, somewhere around 233, 234. If Osaka ever give me an official time, I'll update you. But I think
What did your time say on the sheet?
it didn't.
Oh, it's so hard to find the results
yeah,
anyway.
no, I'm not listed in the
He's
results.
not listed on the results yet. Yeah.
So that's where I don't know.
Maybe they're just still working through the groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could get a time, could be DQ'd. We don't know yet. But yeah, other than that, it was a good race. Shoes felt good. I think the fact that my quads, I reckon late in the race started to feel it a bit, and I think that's partially due to the deloading of that calf you get with the Rebellion Pro 3, because all of Mizuno's tests have showed that it's somewhere around that sort of 16% it deloads the calves. But I guess that means that load's going somewhere, so I reckon your quads maybe pick that up. And I hadn't done any longer races or anything in the Rebellion Pro 3 leading in, so I think I probably felt the effects of that. But I guess you'd rather have your big muscles like your quads dealing with at the end of the marathon than your calves, so it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Yeah.
I always cramp in the last 5 or 6 Ks in the calves, so to have it in the quads, my calves felt fresh the next day, which I could never say for any of the other races, but boy, the quads were cooked, absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Well, I think at the 30K, you asked me how I was going, and my quads were kind of cooked then. And
Pre-hill.
That was pre-hill. And I did say to you, look, things aren't going great, but I'm just going to try and hold on as best I can. And I think we'll get into a bit of training after this as well. But maybe my training I hadn't got a good block in where.
Well, you also had a last-minute change of plan mid-race.
Well, I was going to go through that, but yes, I went in with every intention to kind of get through kind of very much unscathed and not go for a PB or anything like that.
We'd had 3 days of hearing how easy you're taking
Just
it as
have
well.
fun. And I tell you what, my training leading up to that was all about just enjoying it and going as easy as possible, but respecting, the course and Osaka Marathon in general. And then, I got about 3K in and I could see you 40 metres ahead and Jack 20 metres ahead, and I'm like, let's just do this. So I did run up to Jack and...
Last minute decision in marathon always is a good idea.
So I did run up to Jack and say, hey, let's kind of run together. We'll just keep each other company, keep each other accountable, and kind of I knew he wanted to run around that 240 mark. So let's tap along at these paces and, let's do this together. And so, we did. My quads, yes, definitely got beat up in the 30K mark. There was a lot of worry, and then we went up the hill, and I think the hill kind of suits me a little bit, so
Completely dropped me.
I could just tap away and find a rhythm, and then it was going downhill definitely hurt on that last 10K, but I managed to get in. I think the gun time for me was 2:39.39, and the net time was 2:39.09. So I was reasonably happy with that, considering I wasn't really going into to kind of run hard or done the training to. And that's going to lead me to the kind of training blocks that you guys did, because I'm sure you guys put in decent training blocks, and then I'll give them what not to do in training.
Do you want to dive into yours or me?
Oh, yeah, I'll go mine. I knew that I was going to be running the marathon, 20 weeks out? So I had a good level of time to prepare. I was originally going to do a track season over the summer, but as soon as I got the opportunity, I was like, twist my arm, I'll go over to Osaka. So, it was hot during the summer. So up on the farm, it would have been 45 degrees some days. So probably 30, 33 degrees by the time you wake up in the morning to go for a run. So some of those training runs, building up volume, were pretty tough, but my coach, Matt Smith, adjusted a fair few of the paces and sessions so that it didn't feel out of reach or just kind of out of range. I think overall, a lot of the paces ended up being probably 4 or 5 seconds slower in the kind of equivalent sessions, like the big session at the end was 4x5k at marathon pace. When I was leading up to Perth in October, I hit those at like 3:42 per kilometre with 3 minutes rest in between, whereas when I did it here on the farm in the summer, hit about 3:47 and felt somewhere around the same. But obviously I think that means a bit more if it's 15, 16 degrees hotter. So overall, like, kept the quality high. The load, I would say, was probably a little bit more than what I did for Perth, despite the fact that the mileage was a bit lower, just spending time in the heat, pushing the pace a little bit more, taking on heaps of fuel, bit of extra carbs on long runs, a bit of sodium as well. And yeah, overall, I'd say it's probably the best training block that I've had despite the heat. And I think that contrast going from really hot to really cold was just
it's
like...
the better way around to do it.
I was going to say,
so
race in
good.
the cold.
I do wonder whether that helped us a little bit coming from the Perth
definitely.
summer of, we're getting up to 40 degrees and up on the farm it's even hotter.
Yeah.
And then going to 2-3 degrees racing,
Yeah.
It's a definite relief when you're on the start line.
Yeah.
I mean, my training, probably not as structured. I really enjoy running. I love running. Don't love racing. So I'm not one of those people that says I need a race to motivate me. I'm happy to run somewhere between 120 Ks to 150 Ks a week in, week out, and not race. So that's basically what I did. So I was training as I normally do. Like when we found out we're doing the marathon, I maybe, the only thing I've probably changed was I'll consciously make sure I'm getting in my long runs on the weekend. So, every now and then I'd push it from 2 hours to maybe 2:15, 2.5. But apart from that, I'm doing 1 or 2 hard runs a week and a long run and as much easy running in between that. I wasn't necessarily going in with a goal. I knew that this was going to be a big trip of, seeing Mizuno. We were going to be busy. So as much as you managed to pull off a PB, I think you've probably got more in you because I don't think it was a trip aimed around running well. Like if you had, a proper lead in where, the days in, you're not spending 8 hours a day out looking at shoes and walking around expos and stuff like that, I think you're going to run a lot better. So yeah, I was just looking at it more as the experience, but knew that somewhere around that sort of 2:30 to 2:40 would have been reasonably comfortable. I don't know. I think I've got short legs that are just fine shuffling along for 2.5 hours. So off the training I did, that seems to be fine. I pulled up okay, like, the standard sort of day or two of being a bit sore and then can kind of get back moving. So I don't think my body minds too much with these longer efforts. It's strangely the shorter track stuff, which Nathan loves, that would actually ruin me. So I can pull up from a marathon, but if you get me to do a 1500, I might blow an Achilles tomorrow.
Oh, I'm getting old. I don't know much longer I can keep doing the track type sessions for. But yeah, my training's definitely more around the shorter, sharper stuff.
We're definitely on the opposite end of type of runner, I think.
And I definitely don't like long runs. And so I only decided 6 weeks out I should probably start doing something longer than about 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah, that was your first decent long run, wasn't it? I remember you going out to Helena for it.
Yeah, it was about six weeks out from the race. So again, this is the what not to do. And I did build up. I did a 32k long run with some marathon. My original marathon pace efforts thrown in, and then I guess I just kind of winged it on the day accidentally.
So what was your longest run? That one?
32k. 32
yeah.
Ks.
Well, how long was that? 2 hours? 2.5?
2 hours. 2 hours and 5 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
I think, not this needs to be training talk, but I think that 2 hour long run, if you look at the history of training, a lot of guys aren't going much beyond that. If once you're pushing much further beyond 2 hours, you're risking a lot of breakdown. You kind of have about 2 hours of glycogen storage in your muscles and stuff like that. So you're going beyond that, 2.5, maybe you want to get that bit of time on feet, but beyond that, you're just breaking your body down with no real purpose. So I think if you can get in a couple of 2 hour runs, you're probably in a pretty good spot for a marathon.
Well, I think everyone's a little bit different as well, and I think I've found now what works reasonably well for me. I don't think maybe I've run the best marathon yet, but
we're also not elite athletes where this is our job.
No, exactly. It's more for fun. So for me to do that off what I was doing, I was pretty happy. And yeah, I think I'm probably maybe a body type who would break down a lot more if I did more 2 hour runs. So it's a little bit more of a safer play for me to kind of just come in on the back end and top up. which I think you guys are a bit stronger than I am, so maybe you can hold those loads a bit more. But I know Stu mentioned how many gels he took in the race. What was your nutrition in the race?
I took on 4 Bix gels, the
4
40
gels.
gram sachets. Didn't end up taking on the last one. I just really didn't feel like it. I
Plan-
told myself I would.
Plan for 5?
Plan for 5. Take
I
on
actually
4.
do think you were saying on the start line
And I
to
told
one of the
you
guys
that
from.
I'm going to take all
Was
of
it,
them.
where was he from?
Germany, wasn't he?
One of the Germans was saying, he said, what's your advice? And you said, the last gel that you don't want to take that.
And then I was sitting
You
there
went against your own
at
advice.
35 goes, nah, I don't need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would have been, I was planning on having 4 and I had a spare. I feel like that's always a good option, have a spare. And I had that to try and bring my eyesight back, and it didn't make a difference. But yeah, I was going roughly sort of every half hour-ish having a gel. I think 2 of them were caffeine. They were the pure gels, pure liquid. So
Yeah.
I actually don't remember the flavour. I think it was just whatever was in my cupboard. But I had 2 caffeine ones. And I think they have about 25 milligrams of caffeine. So maybe on
50
the hour
grams,
and on
yeah.
the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
Worked well, didn't have any issues. Also, no advice, but I didn't touch a cup of water the whole time. I think because of the temperature, I was just, maybe I ate some snow. I think it probably got me through. But
That's a bold decision, because I think, just topping up the water, you didn't need
oh,
to.
you definitely should have
but-
water, but I did not.
Maybe you needed us running with you to remind you to have some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I think four gels in the end, and I had a spare just in case things went all pear-shaped on me, which it didn't, thankfully, knock on wood, which I didn't take. But yeah, I had
options
water.
on course as well.
Oh, yeah.
With like they couldn't have signed it better with there was gels, there was water,
Food.
there was food,
The
there
sports
was
drink
bananas.
was unreal as well.
Yep. They had a different sports drink as well.
It's like Picari. It was like a Picari sweat
Yeah,
equivalent. It was
yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, which you would have known if you had any stew.
Just looked at it.
You did want to take on some
Yeah.
croissants or what was it? It was like Danish pastries and
Danish
stuff
pastries.
as well.
I honestly didn't look at them.
Couldn't
every
see
time
them by the end.
I saw a drink station, I literally veered to the other side of the road.
Okay. We're speaking about nutrition. Jack, Stu and I have done a nutrition taste test before.
Yep.
As a guest, I thought we'd bring you on and see if you could name some nutrition. Name that nutrition.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Can
so
you flash that up?
we'll flash that up. Name that nutrition. So we've got 3 cups, okay, and Stu and I know what's in them. So cup number 1.
Now, just for the record, when we did this the first time, it's harder than you think. I thought I was quite good. I wasn't.
You might need a spoon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Will you need a spoon?
Which one is that?
That's number 1. How's the taste?
It's quite like
Take into account
It's a
that
little
you're
bit
normally
lemony.
having these when you're running for an hour and a
Yeah.
half. You don't normally sit on the couch and have these. So
it's quite sticky.
Yep.
I would have said pure. Maybe I reckon it's the Manuka honey.
Oh, close. It's the orange, lemon, and lime from
Oh,
Pure.
I didn't know it was pure.
Okay.
I
Well,
thought it was a little bit citrusy.
I think that's better than us already. All right, number 2.
Number 2.
I know they serve a function, but they don't look great. Like I really love a gel. They keep me going on many runs, but
That's Bix. It's got
wait, I got
Stu,
wrote one down.
you know these ones.
Which cup's that?
2.
Yes.
I spent the whole summer drinking these. If I got that wrong, I would be disappointed.
You got the brand on the first one, and you got it on the second.
Oh,
I don't reckon you would have had this one.
He's already gone better than us though. So.
we have this in store, hey.
We do.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's at Running Warehouse. Yep.
I haven't had that one.
I want to say cherry. Cherry pure.
No.
I don't know what the flavour
No, it's I do know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. Give us one more go. SIS?
No, it's Fix. So Fix will be
Oh, no, yeah,
on
never
course
had
at
that.
Ballarat Marathon coming
okay.
up next month. It's the
Smooth.
raspberry fizz. That was actually just sitting in my bag from from just what
That
I
doesn't
hadn't,
taste too. That's not too
hadn't
bad,
had.
actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought when we tried it. Hence, I've had a couple in my bags since then. But
What's the flavour called?
that one's raspberry fizz.
Okay, that's actually tastes a bit like
Yeah,
sherbet.
yeah. I'll give him 2 out of 3.
I mean, he did better than us.
Yeah, that was comfortably better than us.
I feel like we thought they were all the maple syrup ones. Untapped.
Yeah.
They all tasted like that.
Just all sweet. You brought in another shoe, Jack. No,
Yeah,
and this is yeah. We'll move them away. This is from Mizuno, and as I said, we got to see some shoes coming out later in
Yeah,
this
it's
year
like
in 2025.
July this year is they've got 3 exciting models, I'd say.
Plus that as well.
Plus that for
Plus
4.
that, sorry, the 3 exciting models that they showed us in the
Oh yeah,
in
true.
the engine. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, big focus on the. We're allowed to say the names. Hey, they have them as the mystery
We'll
shoes.
cut it out if we're not.
So it's either the mystery shoe or
The Neo Vista 2. I think they would be pretty happy. I think I saw it from the influencers as well. So
Someone will
oh
mention
well.
it. We'll just
So yeah,
blur it out.
new shoe has a top layer of TPU foam instead of it was a supercritical EVA before.
Yep.
They've kept the same bottom layer. It's a little bit bouncier, a little bit more punch out of the forefoot especially. Changed up the rubber, similar decoupled groove, but maybe a little bit more foam underfoot. They reworked the upper a little bit to give it a bit more structure through the heel counter, which I think some people were chasing. I really liked this version of the shoe. The Neo Vista before, for me, felt a little bit soft, a little bit mushy. So this has the kind of bounce to be able to take it for long runs, bit of up-tempo stuff as well. Really, really liked my first couple of runs in this. Then they also had the Wave Sky 9,
Yeah.
which had the top layer of Nitro EVA.
Yeah.
And then the bottom layer of the standard, or I guess the same stuff that they've got here, the supercritical EVA.
Yes, it's super critical.
Yeah.
I mean, so Mizuno, they put all these shoes under Energy Next. They
Yeah.
just say it's
Yeah.
all Energy Next.
It's not all quite the same though.
Yeah,
Is it?
there's different formulations of their Energy Next, but I think in general, like the general consensus is with Energy Next is it's a very nice feeling foam underfoot. Like it's definitely better than an EVA. I mean, in some of their shoes, they're using a version of EVA in Energy Next, but
But
either
it's
way,
tuned
it's
nicely.
it's a super nice feel. You're getting a lot of spring. It's lightweight. And in each of these 3 new shoes, there's a version of
It's pretty much
Energy
3
Next.
foams. Hey, you've got the TPU stuff, which is in the Neo Zen, the top layer here. Then you've got the Nitro EVA, which is going to make up all of the Wave Rider 29.
Yep.
And then the top layer of the Wave Sky, and then you've got the supercritical EVA, which was all of the old Neo Vista, bottom half of this one, and then sprinkled into the Wave Sky 9 as well. So a nice 3 foams, and then you add on, I guess, the NEZ XP. You've got a really nice rotation of foams to mix and match.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just Mizuno that does it though. I think a lot of brands have slightly different variations in their
Fuel cell.
You say it
in
with
there. Yeah.
New Balance do it a lot.
Yeah. So it's not just Mizuno, but I guess for shoe geeks, which I probably classify as a little bit, you kind of do want to know what you are running in, and so it is good to know at times what you are running in. Yeah. And Stu and I did get to run in the Wave Sky wear test
Late
last year, yeah. And that's one shoe which I tried and instantly
Oh, yeah.
texted the Mizuno Australia guys and said, when can I get a pair?
Yeah.
Because it's a really fun shoe to run in. And a bit like Hoka updating the Bondi and bringing it kind of up to spec with other shoes, I think that's going to do that for Mizuno. It's going to really bring that into a nice, fun shoe that you want to put your daily miles in. Yeah.
Well, because we saw the innovation of carbon shoes and the tech around them coming out in 2017-ish, and then daily trainers kind of stayed the same up until the last year or two, where it was just the same foam, a bit more of it, they were heavier and stuff like that, but there was a lot to be learnt from this that could carry over, and then now I think we're finally seeing that, with shoes like this and with shoes like the Wave Sky 9 and the new Rider, like they're taking what we've learnt from these carbon shoes and the better foams, we're getting more spring, you're getting lighter shoes, and we're bringing it into daily trainers. And I think for the people that aren't necessarily racing and going for marathon PBs, I think that's where they're going to really start appreciating this tech, is now that it's moving into daily trainers. So yeah, I think it's exciting for Mizuno that they have a really good range of shoes, from your daily trainer right through to your race now, or the shoe that sits in between. They've sort of got something for everyone.
Yeah. What shoes are you running in the most at the moment, Joe?
Just overall?
Yeah.
It'd probably be the Neo Zen still. Like, I'm still running in that, even though we're past the trip. Like, I wanted to get K's into it to be able to chat to the designers, but I'm still running a lot in that. Super shoe-wise, I'm doing a fair bit in the Elite 2 now that we're back running just to test that out. But, yeah, Neo Zen was just fantastic. Soft and bouncy. That TPU foam is just perfect.
Yeah.
I did feel like a bit of a pleb the other day running past you in the Elite 2 and I was in the Elite 1.
It was a shoe off on the coast.
Yeah, I know. Well, normally it's not too much on the coast, but yeah, when I run on the jack, it changes things.
Yeah. And I know running the marathon with you or next to you, about every 5 or 10 metres you would spot a different shoe on someone's foot. Yeah. So I don't know if Stu did it as well. I'm sure.
I did till about 38k.
Until he couldn't see. Some of the shoes that you saw in the marathon in Osaka, I guess some of them were a little bit surprising for me, and they were still kind of not super old school, but they definitely
more traditional
went
flats. Yeah,
that lower flat option. Yeah. Some of the Adidas Takumis we spotted. I saw
Emperors as well. The Mizuno Emperors.
There's a few guys in the old Mizuno Emperors, which you can only get in Japan. I saw the Adidas Evo SL as well a few times. Standing on the start line. Yeah, were there any that's kind of surprised you, or that you really noticed on the race?
There was a lot of Magic Speed 4s, like disproportionately amount of Magic Speed 4s. Like ASICS is pretty popular here in WA. Like on the start line, you'll see heaps of Nimbus, heaps of Kayanos, but over there, a lot of Magic Speed 4s. Also, their Japanese specific S4.
The S4, yeah.
Yeah, I've actually seen that come up on the ASICS website now, so maybe it's coming over, but top layer of the super foam, bottom layer of the EVA, there's a lot of those. Also a fair few Asian brands as well, so like Li Ning, which we do stock, and then X-Step and 361 Degrees, a few carrying over there. Mm-hmm. That was pretty interesting to see. But yeah, a lot of Magic Speed 4s, fair bit of Adidas as well. I think they have like a few. I think they put in a bit of effort there to make like the Japanese colorways and getting around like all the running festivals and stuff. So yeah, bit of Adidas there too.
Yeah. Were there any surprised you, or any that you noticed while you could still see, Stu?
Not shoes wise, but the guy in the suit, guy in a full suit, he was with Mizuno, so he was running in the Rebellion Pros. But he ran the whole marathon in a full suit, and when it started snowing, I actually thought he maybe made the right decision, not me, in the lightweight stuff. That was surprising. I did see in one of the other videos of the race a guy running in the traditional Japanese. It's like a plank of wood with a bit that goes down. Yeah, and he was running in those, so he did the full marathon in that. Outside of that, I mean, I think it was a pretty good mix. Like the brands that you saw a lot of, I think being a Mizuno race, you saw a lot of Mizuno. Saw a lot of ASICS once again. Japan's the home of ASICS, so that wasn't surprising. Adi, and they were probably the biggest three brands you saw, I think, on feet of the guys racing. The elite field's always a bit skewed because it's whichever sponsor sends the most Kenyans there is going to have, the most shoes in the front there. But, I think super shoes, sometimes people think that maybe it only works for the elites, but you're seeing it. I mean, it's going a long way back in the pack. You're looking at guys still doing 4 hours and they're still running in the super shoes. So, yeah, I think it's a big market of people that can use these shoes to benefit.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the man in the suit, because I did see his Instagram the other day, and that's not the first race he's run in a suit.
He's the suit guy.
That's his thing. He does it a lot. Yep, and he has some good times whilst wearing a suit. So
he's torching us for the first 35. I only
got he was ahead of me.
36 k's.
So it's very impressive. But I guess also that it was cold. So what did you guys race in? Like, what were you dressed in?
I actually think I got my layers about right. Even though as soon as we finished, I think I got hypothermia straight away.
That happens in a marathon, I think.
But I just went with split shorts. The shortest ones Mizuno could find me. 1.5 inch split from Mizuno. Obviously the shoes was the Rebellion Pro 3 in the Oni colour. and then I had a long sleeve top and a normal t-shirt over top and gloves and a buff as well. So layers wise, I think I got it about right. But yeah, geez, once we finished, I was chilly.
Jack wasn't as dressed up as you.
No, I run hot.
Yeah.
I run real hot. Like, I've never worn a jumper for an entire run, so I just had the singlet, the arm sleeves. We had gloves as well, which was the first time I've ever worn them.
Yep.
And then 3.5-inch shorts. I can't get away with 1.5 like you blokes. And then obviously the Pro 3 on foot. I was half tempted to get the Oni colourway of the Pro Low because that did feel really good in store, but stuck with the Pro 3. I've done all the training in it. And that ended up right. Like, I felt like core temperature I managed to keep low, but then I had my arms and hands reasonably warm. I was tempted to pull them off.
You tried for about 200 metres, you dropped your arm sleeves.
And then it started snowing. I was like, oh,
Back on.
keep them back on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went the shorter shorts I could get. I think, as Stu said, about a 1.5 split short.
Did you contemplate the Mizuno tights, the 2.5%?
Tuck the belly button in.
Whatever. Is it? It's 2.5% or 3.5%?
Yeah, it's 2.5%. The
we're getting them.
Mizuno BioGear half tight. Yep, we are expecting them soon. I did contemplate them, yes, but they don't have anywhere to store a gel. And so for a marathon, that I did store gels in the back pocket. Also tucked down some arm sleeve gels in arm sleeves. I wore arm sleeves, t-shirt, singlet over the top, gloves, and I did have a little buff. A little buff around my neck to stay warm, as well as the Rebellion Pro 3s, because unlike you two, I do like the geometry.
I love the geometry.
Yeah, run a PB and you love the geometry. But yeah, that's more my kind of shoe. I think I do like that.
I think also everyone wearing the Oni higher colorway was cool, because doing a race in a place where you don't know anyone, it was nice because there was a lot of switchbacks. Anytime I saw a red and blue shirt, I was just waving to them because I assumed I probably met them this weekend at the Mizuno thing. Yeah. So it was nice to see some familiar faces out on course, because there was a lot of people. I didn't know anyone. There was 2 people that said they knew an Australian, and it wasn't me. It was you that they knew, and I was like, he's back there.
Jack got spotted about 3 times by different people during the race
on
the course.
Crowd,
which made me feel good because I was running with him, so I felt a little bit was with me. But yeah, speaking about all the turnbacks, we did get to see Stu a couple of times, and I don't know if he saw us all the time because obviously the lights went out.
They were all before 32k, so we'll
okay. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if you saw us every single time. Yeah. Okay.
I took note of that.
Okay, good. All right. So I guess we've just got some thanks now. One, thanks Jack for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Really appreciated your time over in Osaka as well. Gave me someone to run a marathon with, so I appreciate.
Dragged you along, yeah.
I appreciate that. I think I'd like to say a big shout out to Mizuno Australia for looking after us when we were in Japan. We didn't have to think of one thing when we were there, and for taking us into their HQ, taking us into the engine, and getting to see some of the kind of stuff that's coming out later this year, and how they're doing things.
Well, it's, like Mizuno, I think the whole trip they were kind of trying to translate to us like the fact that, we see, as retailers, we see the end product, or as consumers, you see the end product and you just think about that. But they're like, we're a brand, we have a story, and they wanted to try and communicate that story. And by showing us, we're, hopefully we can help translate to customers. Like, I think, they told us when we were there that from day one, they didn't say it in English, but their motto was make good product.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to do. So, hearing that, and that makes us happy because we like to run in good product. So.
Yeah, day one is 1906 as well.
They've had a long time to work it out.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of time to refine that product, and seven-story store filled with their own products. They're obviously making some good products there. But thanks to Osaka for the marathon for looking after us as well. Some of us maybe who are in
Maybe
wave,
not
wave
welcome back
G.
in Osaka. Yeah.
Might not be welcome back, but
Thanks for the first time.
but thanks for looking after us as well. So obviously, that's been the Running Warehouse Australia Runners Series. You can find previous ones we've done on our YouTube page, the Running Warehouse Australia YouTube page. And thanks to you at home for joining us on this. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks.